The closest you can get to flying without leaving the ground is a car like this one, a jet dragster. The most exotic of all racers uses the same engines that the Navy used in many of its fighter jets in the 1960s. When you light the afterburner on this baby, there's no holding back. They are part plane and part dragster, fire-breathing turbo rockets that set alight NHRA drag strips with exhibitions of dazzling staging and lightning speed.
As a promoter, I booked these cars because they're probably the most spectacular of all the exhibition vehicles.
If no one has ever seen a jet car run in person, it's the most exciting and thrilling thing they'll ever see. They must come see it.
It's a good show. People enjoy watching them.
I think the spectator enjoys seeing the car do the fire show more than they do seeing it go real fast.
Jet car racing is an NHRA exhibition event. Although the cars line up one-on-one, there's no championship point system as in conventional drag racing.
NHRA has a speed limit on us. They do not want us to exceed 290. There's probably half a dozen cars right now that are capable of over 300 without a problem. The NHRA is kind of they're like the big guys of government in racing. They tell us what we can do, what we can't do. They also provide the insurance for most of the tracks and you know, all the safety technicians and all that stuff. So, you know, they're real good guys for us to pay attention to because they have our safety in mind.
In recent years, jet cars have seen a major revival of interest amongst not only fans but also drivers. One of the main factors is cost. Top Fuel racing is becoming prohibitively expensive.
In fuel racing, it seems like the 10 top guys, I think it's true in most racing, the 10 top guys make all the money and all the rest of the guys are the guys that just kind of fill it, the program up.
You're looking at somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000 to bring a Top Fuel car in. One car. That means that it's a lot of money for a promoter to put on a show. To put on an 8-car jet show, he don't even spend $20,000.
Comparable to a Top Fuel car, they're a lot more economical to run. The initial outlay, $60,000 to build a car, would be the same as a Top Fuel dragster or nitro funny car. But the most attractive thing is the between-round maintenance in a jet car is almost nil compared to a fuel car.
A Top Fuel motor from blower to pan right now is $35,000. You can put it in a car and make one pass for it and grenade the whole thing. It's $35,000, it's gone.
Given that fact that jet cars are cheaper and faster, it is not surprising that drivers will come a long way to race them.
I came from Krugersdorp in South Africa, which is a city close to Johannesburg, which is in the Transvaal. And we fly out to come and race in America, and it takes us about 26 flying hours to get here.
The technology of jet cars is radically different from conventional dragsters. In Top Fuel, the power is delivered by a piston-driven engine to the tires via the transmission. The friction between the track and the tires creates the momentum by translating the horsepower to accelerating force. In jet cars, the momentum is created by the displacement of air. Thus, there is no need for a transmission. The thrust generated by the turbo-driven motors causes a constant accelerating reaction force that pushes the car down the track.
The initial start is not as severe as in the Top Fuel car.
We're getting 4 Gs off the starting lines.
Acceleration is just about the same from the starting line to the finish line.
Piston car will level off. A jet doesn't. A jet just keeps accelerating and accelerating. It just keeps going higher and higher and higher.
You know, 1,000 feet, this sucker's really coming alive.
Jet cars generate 6,000 pounds of thrust. That's equivalent to 12 to 13,000 horsepower as compared with 5,000 horsepower for conventional dragsters. Slowing down these rockets requires a lot of split-second timing.
The angle of the motor is 2 degrees, so the nose of the motor is down 2 degrees. So when you're under full power, the thrust coming out of the back of the engine is actually pressing the car down on the racetrack surface. So what happens is when you click the motor off, and before the parachute comes out, I'm in limbo there. There's no power pushing the motor down, or pushing the car down, and there's no parachute holding it back. So it skates a lot.
You know, when the wind comes from the wrong side, you can have a speed wobble on the front wheels when the chute comes on, but I mean, you don't get excited. You just keep your cool and you wait and the car will slow down. If, of course, the main chute doesn't come out, you've got like a second to decide to pull the emergency chute. And then if that doesn't come out, then you can still use the brakes. And if that doesn't come out, you've got a problem.
Although jet cars are billed as a sideshow, when it comes to speed and performance, they are the show. They are faster, more technologically sophisticated, certainly more spectacular, and above all, they are more affordable. In the world of speed and beauty, that's a winning formula.
Network.